I also had something to say. I had a confession for you guys.
Okay.
Yeah. So we watched. No, nothing like that. We watched a couple months back. We watched that movie, Last Stop in Yuma County, and I did not have favorable things to say about it.
Yeah, didn't like it.
We got a comment recently on the YouTube channel where somebody wasn't giving me shit. He was just like, "Oh, I'm surprised you didn't like it," and he explained to me certain things about it that he liked. And I went back and watched it, and I liked it much better the second time. I don't know what headspace I was in back then when we watched it that I didn't like it, or what
Yeah, I was a little surprised you didn't like it because I thought it was good.
I don't know what issue I took with it, but it's like the type of movie that I love and appreciate because, as you know, I love exploitation films from the 60s and 70s. In fact, the fucking our channel art is all our branding is I designed it
vintage
based on the look of those exploitation films. So I went back and watched it, and I have a new appreciation for it. And coincidentally, I got this video of Quentin Tarantino here talking about the film industry. And I know Quentin, he, has his quirks, and he's got some questionable dialogue in his movies and stuff like that. But he's obviously one of the greatest filmmakers of all time. And
Samuel L. will defend him always. I don't know if you've heard him say.
I have, yeah.
He always makes me the most intelligent person in the film, so I give him respect for that.
I don't think Tarantino's a racist personally, but I don't know. Maybe he is. But anyway, he if nothing else, he has a true love of film. He loves the art form. He loves its history, and he has a movie called Grindhouse that is a 2-part. It's Planet Terror and what's the other one?
I don't know.
Not the car, but he the whole movie is a love letter to these exploitation films of the 60s and 70s when film was really at its peak. It's that was an era when just there was so much creativity and people were out making low budget films and playing in low budget theaters and drive-ins and stuff, and it was a magical time.
He's gonna be a playwright. Yeah,
he's gonna start making plays. Yeah. And because he's describing the experience of going to a play, I guess, is akin to what making movies used to be for him.
Wow.
And he's not wrong. What he just said, it's there's the whole art form has been there's no theater experience anymore. A movie like Nosferatu comes out, it's a great theater experience. I'm sure I didn't get to see it in theaters.
Yeah, that would have been crazy.
But then it's out 2 weeks later.
Right.
Nah, theater, but going to the movies used to be a
still
thing.
You got to get yes, but no. I mean, this would be like the CEO of Blockbuster sitting down and complaining about the experience of renting videos is no longer what it used to be. Yes, because technology and times have changed, and the way people consume things is a little bit different, such that a lot of people would rather watch it on their big screen at their home because we can watch it in 4K at our home now instead of on fucking tube TVs that are,
right. It's
480p or 360p.
Yeah, but it's still, I don't know. Is that what he's saying is not about the quality, it's about the experience. You go to a movie.
Yeah, no, I get it. There's definitely an experience to going to the movies and going to the theater and seeing a film in the theater. But at the same time, society has shifted a little bit, and that's not necessarily. Some people still enjoy it, but it's not the norm. And as far as consuming cinema,
yeah,
we've gone away from it.
This is one of those you just got to get with the times.
Yep.
No, I get it.
Just kind of sounded like a little boomery.
You think so?
The kids.
I get it,
ain't gonna give a fuck. Kids like going to the theaters, but they also want to see that shit on their big screen TV at home in 2 weeks. So
yeah.
He's just gonna have to complain or go do theater.
I do get what he's saying though, and it was just interesting that this popped up right as I watched that movie again, because that movie, just like his Grindhouse films, are a love letter to the film industry back then. I don't know. So that was my confession. I rewatched Last Stop in Yuma County, and I did enjoy it the second time. So
nice.
Good. What the hell are we supposed to use, man? Harsh language?
We're back, folks. This is episode 120 of the Harsh Language Podcast. Welcome back. Hope everybody had a good 2 weeks. How did you guys? How have you guys been doing? Anything? Oh, you up to anything good? Super Bowl Sunday was yesterday.
Yeah, it was.
I totally forgot about it until I got to my friend's house and it was on the TV during the halftime show, which I didn't really pay attention to, but it's making wrinkles in the cultural zeitgeist, I guess, at this point now.
Yeah. Seeing mixed opinions about what people thought of it.
I feel like there's a lot of people in this country that probably didn't get it.
Some people said it was the worst Super Bowl performance ever, which is bold.
Yeah. A lot of white people happen to be not liking it. It's kind of weird. But what have you guys been up to this last 2 weeks? Anything good? Any new stuff?
Nah, not much, honestly. I haven't been watching much. I watched first episode of that show, Station 11, that came out a couple years ago. It's pretty good.
That's the weird one. That's the one. That's the one I was thinking of last time we recorded. Remember, I was like, I couldn't put my finger on the thing, I think.
Maybe.
Let me see. Let me get to the bottom of this. Nope, never mind. That's not it. Is it good?
Yeah, the first episode was great.
It's a mini-series?
It's like a world-ending flu type of thing going on.
Interesting. Okay. That's cool. How about you, Dusty? You been watching anything new? I watched a couple things.
There's I can't remember what it's called.
Hang on a second.
It's a show similar to Silo. Except it's like the Secret Service, and these rich people built this underground city in Colorado or in the Rockies, like 25,000 people, and the president gets assassinated, and it turns into this weird thing. You figured out they're living underground because something happened above ground.
What is this? I had my headphones off.
I can't remember the name of it.
Oh,
it's not on my continue watching for some reason.
It's a show, right?
Yeah. But like the guy, you figure out that the air's breathable up there, and they're trying to keep everybody down in the thing in the mountain. So
this sounds
very
familiar.
Silo-esque, but it's more like a political thriller because it has to do with politics and Secret Service and stuff like that. So
political version.
Paradise.
It's not bad, but it's nothing great. But
it's called Paradise, right?
Yeah, Marvin got to that
Paradise.
shit immediately.
That's it. Thank you, Marvin.
OpenAI is built off of Marvin's actual brain.
Yeah.
He just gets to the bottom of shit instantly. That's cool.
Got my master's in Googling.
Bro, that will probably be like a degree at some point in time. Sadly enough. I watched a couple of things. Oh, God.
I did watch American Primeval. I got through that. It's only like six or so episodes. It's what's the Leonardo DiCaprio movie where he gets in the bear fight?
Revenant.
It's very
Revenant,
Revenant. It's very brutal like that. It's got an 8.2.
Nice.
It's Taylor Kitsch, Betty Gilpin, and Dane DeHaan. But it's this lady trying to travel across to get to the Mormons. It's doesn't show the Mormons in a very good light. They're raiding people, trying to control the territory out there.
Not the Mormons.
But that was a pretty good one, actually. Taylor Kitsch did a pretty good job. I enjoyed it. It's kind of slow at times, very violent at times, but it was a pretty good show. I enjoyed it.
Cool. Yeah. I kind of got back on my movie watching bandwagon. I don't know I like to watch, like, when I'm in my stride of watching things, I like to watch like sometimes one movie a night. It's just like a thing I like to do. It's just like my wind down. Like, I just love doing it. And so I haven't really been doing it a lot the last couple of months, but I got back to it a little bit, and I'll just watch anything. It's not even like, it's just random bullshit that I think is interesting. I watched two pretty, like, I guess, cheesy rom-coms that ended up being like really good. Actually, they're not good movies, like by good movie standards, but I thought they were good and entertaining, and that's what counts. And you know me, I love my rom-coms. The first one is called Love Hard. I don't know if you guys...
Isn't that the Ki Hee Kwan?
No.
Oh no.
That's
That's like Love Hurts or something.
Love Hurts, something like that. Yeah. Love Hard is with Nina Dobrev, who I guess she's like a big deal or something, actress. I don't know. I hadn't seen her in anything, but Jimmy O Yang is in it, and he was really the selling point. Jimmy O Yang, if you watched the show Silicon Valley, he was the Chinese kid like living in the house with them who was always just like up to no good in the background. He's so fucking funny. And so I just put this on one night, and it was actually pretty good. Like it was, I thought it was pretty cute.
This Nina person, I don't know her, but I looked her up. She was in Vampire Diaries, so that's probably why.
Yeah. It was pretty good overall. Very, very, very cheesy, but that's what rom-coms are all about.
That's right.
Then I watched another rom-com, and this one is Will Ferrell's newest movie with Reese Witherspoon. It's called You're Cordially Invited. And
yeah, I want to see that one.
I haven't heard of it.
Yeah. Now, I love Will Ferrell.
It's an Amazon flick.
And I love Reese Witherspoon. She's like the queen of rom-coms. She's like this generation's I don't know. I feel like she's just like she does good rom-coms. Anyway.
Meg?
Yeah, Meg Ryan
Maybe.
is what I was going to say, but I didn't commit to it cuz I didn't want to go that far cuz Meg Ryan's like the queen of rom-coms. But this has like all the makings of something I would have liked, but it has a 5.5 on IMDb, and I was just like, I read through the reviews, and everybody's like, this is fucking so stupid, and I was like, oh, cool, it's a really stupid comedy that like Will Ferrell's known for. I'm in, and Nicholas Stoller wrote and directed it, and I fucking love him. He did the Neighbors movies. He did the Goosebumps show that I was just talking about a couple weeks ago.
Right.
I just like his shit, and sure enough, this didn't disappoint. It got completely shit on Rotten Tomatoes by like audiences and critics, and I like got shit on IMDb, and I enjoyed it. Like it's not the best movie in the world, but it's fun. It made me laugh a lot, and like I don't know what you want, people. Like I don't know what people want in movies. They like simultaneously.
Yeah, I don't know. We've talked about this though. Like rom-coms are kind of like horrors, and that the rating.
Yeah.
You can't really, like, you can kind of look at a movie sometimes and be like, oh, that's an 8, man. At least it might be good. You might not like it, but most people like it. So you can get a reading on it. But if it's a 5, you're like, maybe it sucks.
I'm about to stop looking at ratings.
Yeah, I have.
It's funny because we're like, do the fake rating thing. But
yeah, no, I've been done doing it. I kind of don't anymore. But I don't know. I like to just get like a barometer for what's going to happen. But obviously, it doesn't matter. I mean, with these, like, Dusty was just saying, if somebody's shitting on a rom-com like this, like it doesn't mean anything. They just don't like these types of movies. This is like a silly Will Ferrell movie. Like this is his whole career. I don't know why you would be like surprised by that. And I find it endearing because like maybe it's nostalgia bias, but like I said, these movies like are so few and far between. But I'll take this any day over some fucking corporate slop that's getting put out now most of the time.
Speaking of Meg Ryan, did you see the Super Bowl ad with?
Yeah.
And so, can we talk about like the money laundering or something that's going on? Because fucking Hellman's mayonnaise can afford an $8 million 30-second commercial.
Everybody can.
Like, what? Where is this money coming from? They're just shitting it out.
Mayo, big mayo, Marvin. What are you talking about?
It was. I saw commercials. I was like, nah, this is no way. I wish I could remember. It was so shocking that they had a commercial. I wish I could remember. It's just crazy.
It's funny because we just made you watch When Harry Met Sally not too long ago, a couple episodes ago, in fact, and I got a little teary-eyed, not gonna lie, when I saw this commercial. Just because When Harry Met Sally is like literally one of my favorite movies. And as stupid as it sounds, it's like confirmation that Harry and Sally made it.
Yeah.
They're still married.
Yep.
And they're
I can't hear you.
No, I have it muted.
Oh, okay.
But I was just showing it. But yeah, I don't know. It was kind of cute that they're just still together in the When Harry Met Sally universe. the commercial was them basically back at Kat's Deli, and she has an orgasm, but this time, a real one, apparently, over Hellman's mayonnaise. Which, listen, I've had plenty of orgasms over mayo. I love mayo. So.
Oh hell no! Fucking despise. I don't despise it, but
you don't like white things or people. So
I need the most light coating of mayo on my sandwich.
Fucking
very light,
dry ass fucking sandwich.
Nah, not dry. Just a very light coating. I don't want the fucking mayo squirting all on the side of my mouth and shit like
I'll
you do.
fucking,
probably.
Yeah, I'll bathe in that
That's
shit.
disgusting.
Oh yeah,
I need the fucking hot sauce watch, like Undercover Brother, or whatever the fuck that was. You know what I'm talking about?
I do, but no, yeah, I do and I don't. But
yeah,
damn.
Undercover Brother, that's what it was.
Yeah, so that commercial was cool, but yeah, so I don't know. This rom-com, I was on a little bit of a rom-com kick. They did the job. Fuck off, everybody who doesn't like them. They were cool. Speaking of Nicholas Stoller, I also found out and he's got a show out that I just didn't even know about. And it's literally, it's him and, I'm sorry, he made it. And it's with Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne. So they're back together from Neighbors because they were married in Neighbors. It's a show called Platonic. And it's about two childhood best friends who reconnect as adults.
Yeah, I told you about this.
Did you?
Yeah, I've watched it.
Wow.
It's good.
Oh.
It's also Apple.
It's Apple TV. So that's how you know it's good. I saw a tweet actually say that was just like so casually. It was just like, so Apple basically just replaced HBO, which it did. Because HBO used to be the banger king, like everything.
That's true.
Can't remember the last thing HBO put out, like series-wise.
Watchmen.
But series-wise, that was like mini-series, limited series.
Yeah.
Apple's eating everybody's lunch. All right, well, it's got the Dusty seal of approval. Now I'm even more excited to watch it.
Yeah.
And I watched one other movie, which, Dusty, I don't know if you watched it. I totally forgot about it, and I'm upset with myself. But I watched Kevin Smith's latest movie, the 4:30 movie. Have you seen it yet?
Oh, no, I haven't watched. No, not yet, no.
It was really good. It's not my favorite of his. It's not in the... Well, actually, it is. But it's... Yeah, it was good. It had a bunch of, like, sort of nobody actors. They're just like... a lot of them were young, so just sort of getting into it, it seems. Couple of bigger names. Kate McCucci was in it. Ken Jeong, Justin Long, you know.
Yeah.
And this was basically like Kevin Smith's like Fablemans, basically. It's like
cool.
It's like an autobiography of his life, like, and how he got inspired to become a filmmaker. Yeah, and it was really good. I mean, it's just a good Kevin Smith movie. It had pretty much everything you could expect from him. The lack of like veteran acting, you know, it didn't really ruin the movie, but it comes across as like cheesy and low budget just because they're not like professional actors.
Right.
But I thought it worked. It was good. I really enjoyed it.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was sweet, and it made me cry, which Kevin Smith almost always does. So did the trick. And yeah, that's pretty much it. The only other thing I watched too is that show Mythic Quest came back.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
The writers of It's Always Sunny. It's such a great sleeper show. Also Apple. It's just like so funny and good. Like it's just a good show. You should watch it, Marvin. You'd probably like it.
Mythic Quest. I'm pretty sure it was on my list at one point.
It's less like niche humor than Sunny. Like I know you couldn't really get into Sunny, but
Sunny's all right.
Yeah, but you didn't really give it a full go, I guess. But I don't know. It's fun.
Yeah.
Folks, Dusty used to do journalism, video game journalism. Now he's a muckraker for us.
Yeah.
He goes out there and he collects all the entertainment news for us, the good stuff.
Good stuff.
What'd you think of that Fantastic Four trailer? I need to kick it off with that. Yeah, the interesting stuff.
Yeah, I mean, we thought it was going to be a Super Bowl trailer, or maybe I thought we were going to get something else at the Super Bowl, but they released it a couple days early. So, yeah.
They pulled a little bit of a Superman.
Yeah.
They hit us with a teaser for a teaser.
I hate that.
That's going to be the new standard because Superman fucking popped off.
Right.
This is not it. The fuck is this? You can't even you can't even find trailers online anymore. It's all just AI shit.
Yeah, you got to be real careful about which. Now you're in the algorithm, and they're gonna start sending you.
Yeah, but yeah, no, this looked good.
Recommendation.
This looks great.
I have a little bit of a reservation on the way it looks in some parts, but I'm holding out my criticisms for the fact that I think it's probably like this scene right here. There's something bizarre about like his suit and the robot. It feels a little bit AI-ish, like AI generated-ish. But I feel like it's because it's a trailer. The movie doesn't come out until July. I'm sure there's going to be like some multiple passes of like rendering and stuff like that. But
yeah, like that clip there where he's standing by the that big old board. You'd think he'd have stretched out arms doing different math equations everywhere.
Might have been before But yeah, no, this looks good. I'm excited for it. I mean, it's everything that I think you would possibly want it to be. Like, they all seem to have the proper personalities of the characters. I think Ben Grimm looks fucking great. Like his rock structure, whereas in past movies he looked fucking just atrocious. But similarly to what we said about Superman, we get a good look at Galactus in this. Kaiju Galactus, apparently. But, similar to what we talked about in the Superman trailer, it seems like we're embracing the comic book nature of a comic book, that's what stands out the most to me. Like the other Fantastic Four movies, they tried to just change the look of the Thing for some reason to make him more like movie-esque, or I guess I don't know what, but like he ended up looking like shit in both of those movies.
I can't remember. I'll have to look to see.
It looked like this looks straight out of the comic book, and like like I've been saying, embrace the comics, man. Like Ryan Airy said it too when he did his reaction to the Superman trailer. Like for far too long, these films have been like almost afraid to embrace the source material of what they are. And it really wasn't until James Gunn with Guardians that like they fully really was just like, this is a comic book, guys. Let's do that. So right. I don't know. I think it looks good. I'm still a little bit iffy. I will say one thing. I probably have to see it in full form during the film, but I am just not sold on Pedro as Mr. Fantastic. What about you, Dusty?
No.
As a comic book reader?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm sure he'll do a decent enough job. I'm more concerned about the movie because the quality of movies that Marvel's been putting out.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still very reserved. I don't have any hopes or anything like that, inclinations of it being good. If I'm pleasantly surprised, so be it. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel indifferent about this movie right now.
Don't get me wrong.
It looks good though.
I like Pedro. I do. I just he's not selling me on Reed Richards just yet, but we'll see. So you're hyped for this one, Marvin? You don't get the Marvel hype bug all the time.
Nah, I don't, but this one, I do like it. Like I was saying, it feels like it has its own identity. It's not trying to recreate some spark or like bait you into watching it. It just seems like genuinely good comic book movie. Yeah.
That's a good...
Hopefully.
That's a good descriptor. It does not feel like that. It kind of... Because you know why, Marvin? You know why? This is its own thing. At the moment, it's not connected to the MCU. Like, yeah, of course, it's in the MCU.
Look at this car; this is sick.
That future car, yeah.
But
like, this is in the MCU, and of course, it's gonna like connect at some point. But this isn't like the next thing. This isn't following up. Like, oh, we just watched Loki and Miss Marvel, so now you got to watch the Fantastic Four to keep up on the story. Like, it's just its own thing. It's like this is Fantastic Four's introducing this family to the world of MCU fans. So that's probably why you feel that way. And I think that's great because like we've said, like this whole last phase of slop that they've put out, one of the biggest problems with it was always just connected to the last thing. Like,
yeah, right.
So Another Marvel trailer that dropped is Thunderbolts. Now,
Yep.
speaking of hype trains, baby.
The big game trailer is what they're calling it.
This is the big game trailer? Why is that?
Why is it called that?
Just because it aired during the Super Bowl and the content of it. We also know why it has an asterisk, I guess.
Okay.
Because she says it in here, but some of the foreign posters and stuff, they do have descriptions on it and what it is, and apparently the asterisk means that the Avengers weren't available. So Thunderbolts asterisk is they're the only ones available to do it. So
that's actually funny.
Take it as it. Yeah, it's pretty clever.
I like that, actually.
Yeah.
Talking about hype trains, I went from not giving a fuck about this movie to this being one of the movies I'm looking forward to the most in comic book land. Maybe more than the Fantastic Four, and I'm pretty hyped about the Fantastic Four, but this looks fucking good. Okay? This not only looks like a good Marvel movie, this looks like just a good movie. Like, it looks like a movie, which is something that's been lacking in recent years, not just from Marvel, but everywhere. Like, look at it. It's got actual good cinematography and lighting and fucking blocking and all this shit. You know, blocking is something, we've talked about it before, but it's something that I don't think, and I'm not a professional, so I'm not trying to sound like I am, but blocking is like where people are in a scene, like their positioning. And it's something that stage actors have to pay attention to really more so than anybody because they're fucking doing something in front of a live audience, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it's hard to do in movies because, especially in these movies, because you're creating a scene with nothing usually because they're in a fucking warehouse with a green screen,
right? And
they have to interact with fucking CGI like creatures and peak characters and things that aren't even there. So it's like it's difficult to do, and if it's not being handled properly by like the director and like those the crew, it's gonna come out like shit.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it looks goofy as fuck. Like, so, but this looks fucking good, man. Like, man, I don't know. I have a lot of hope for this movie. I think I'm gonna say it. This might be the one, boys. This might be the one that brings Marvel back to
their take on the Suicide Squad movie, basically.
I don't even think it is. I mean, yeah, probably it is, but I mean, we get a little shot of Sentry there, or Sentry's alter ego, the Void. I think is what people are saying that is. But look at this. This just looks like a movie, man. This is what movies used to look like, guys. You remember?
Mm-hmm.
I remember. This looks fucking good. And even more hopeful because I know who's fucking involved in making it. And I didn't know this before because I never took the time to look into it because I just was assuming this was going to be a giant piece of shit. It's fucking pretty much the entire crew who made the show Beef that we talked about here. Because you, Marvin,
yeah.
It's the same writer, same director. And there was one other person, where was it? I had a bookmark of it. So yeah. The director of photography is this guy, Andrew Draws Palermo, who did The Green Knight, which is a beautiful fucking movie. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yeah, it is.
I'm not.
Didn't we review it?
No, we never talked about Green Knight.
Oh. It was just one we watched together, I think, because that's how long ago that was.
Yeah. Like, here's a little breakdown somebody did on Twitter of some of the scenes in the trailer. Like, this looks like a pretty fucking movie. Yeah. So I don't know. Marvel might be back, boys.
You just jinxed it.
Listen, I don't know. You look at a movie like this and compare it to, like, again, people shit on the Eternals, but the Eternals looked good. It was a good movie. It's a good movie. It might just not be the best comic book movie, but it is a good movie. And so, I don't know. I have hope.
They tried to shoehorn it into a movie. It should have been a series.
I 100% agree. Yeah. So those were the big trailers of the week.
There's a Jurassic World trailer too.
I didn't watch that one.
Not impressed. No.
I saw that.
There was another one with Seth Rogen They were all sitting in a boardroom pitching a movie idea. It started off with a trailer where it was like zombies shitting on people to pass the disease. And then they cut the trailer and they go to the boardroom where they're all talking about it. And it's got, it's not Walton Goggins. Johnny Knoxville, I think maybe, is the director, talking about how I want this to be about. Oh yeah, that's one you should watch. I'll have to pull up the name of the movie, but that one looked good.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyhow.
Yeah, the Jurassic World trailer looked goofy as fuck to me. There hasn't been a good Jurassic Park movie since the original. Like, don't at me. Marvin, have you seen have you seen the original Jurassic Park?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. They got this like mutant fucking beast looking monster that they said was inspired by the Rancor from Star Wars. Like, what are we doing here now, guys? Like, get at it. Like, just stop. Speaking of, God, I have so many bookmarks for the last 2 weeks. Oh, we didn't fucking talk about this trailer. Did we talk about this trailer for Sinners? No, we didn't, because we missed last week.
No, we didn't,
bro. That's we're talking about.
Oh yeah, that movie looks amazing.
Yeah. That shit looks good. Folks, if you haven't seen the trailer for Sinners, this movie with my boy Michael B. Jordan, oh my God. This is a vampire movie that takes place in like, I don't know, fucking 1918 or some shit. It looks fucking good. It's Ryan Coogler, so you know it's gonna be good. Like, I'm hyped for this, honestly. This looks fucking great. I watched this trailer like 3 or 4 times.
It looks crazy. So much personality in this.
Oh yeah,
in this trailer.
We might be back, boys. I don't know. Maybe we'll get
good movies are back.
Maybe good movies are back. He said here, Ryan Coogler. He said that it's got a lot of Coen Brothers influence and Robert Rodriguez, which you could see. He also shouted out the God. Shout out John Carpenter. There's some inspirations there. Salem's Lot. I was going to ask you specifically, Marvin, did you notice the Salem's Lot influence? Now,
I didn't. I wasn't looking for it. I wasn't.
Well, the vampires in this, they got the glowy eyes.
Oh.
Salem's Lot, right here.
Oh, yeah.
Salem's Lot is one of the, as far as I know, one of the only vampire movies that gave them like distinctly glowing eyes, which I think is a really cool little just touch. So I'm really excited about this movie. There's a lot of good stuff coming out, looks like. Yeah.
So this trailer I was talking about is called The Studio.
Okay.
It's actually an Apple TV series.
Oh.
Ooh.
So here's just some of the cast: Catherine O'Hara, Catherine Hahn, Seth Rogen, Dan Sackhoff, Theo Wilson, Martin Scorsese, Bryan Cranston, Zac Efron, Paul Dano, Usher.
Jesus.
Just to name a few.
Jesus Christ.
It looks hilarious. So that might be one checking out. But yeah.
This is a crazy cast.
It is very crazy.
That's that Apple money.
Bro.
That's that sell you the same phone every year. We can make anything we fucking want.
No date.
Money.
no date on this yet.
Yeah.
That looks cool. Yeah, no, this will be good. I love Seth Rogen. I'll watch literally anything with him in it.
Right.
And Catherine O'Hara, of course. Yeah, so we were just real quick while we were talking about Captain we're talking about Marvel stuff. So Captain America, this movie coming out, this is gonna be one of the worst movies ever made. It looks horrendous.
No, it's not.
Yeah, it's gonna be bad, Marvin. But there was so Marvel was under a little bit of taking some heat while we were off the last 2 weeks, because there was just like a three-peat of like dumb shit that people said. Is any of this
Anthony
in your
Mackie
news?
put his foot in his mouth. No, I mean, not really. We could talk about it if you want to, though.
Yeah, Mackie said some shit about like really nothing that big of a deal. He just said something about Captain America, like not representing America.
Yes.
Which didn't really make any sense to me, but I understand what he was saying. Like he was saying that like Captain America represents an ideal that America once strove for, just the way Superman does. Like, there's the whole controversy that Superman no longer stands for like peace, justice in the American way. It's peace, justice, truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. Because the American way is lost. We lost it a long time ago. And if you don't realize that, you're fucking stupid and blind, or you just don't care. So,
I mean, and there's a famous comic book strip, it may be Civil War, where Captain America is talking about his ideals and his beliefs. And he says, even if the whole world tells you to get out of the way, you say no, you stand fast, you plant yourself like a tree.
And you say plant yourself like a tree next to the river of truth and say, no, you move. That's from Civil War.
Yeah.
And it's like a very famous Captain America quote.
Yeah. So, I mean, I kind of get, but also his name is Captain America. He absolutely represents what American ideal should be, but not necessarily what America is. That's like people who love their country but hate their government. Both can be true. Correct.
People think Captain America represents the American government. He doesn't and never has. Like,
no.
Cap is like, I mean, we could split hairs here, but he's probably a progressive, like in real life. Let's just say, like those are his ideals, right? He would probably have some of your ideals too, of just like, get government getting the fuck out of everybody's business and shit like that.
Freedom for all.
But what Mackie was talking about is what the show Falcon and the Winter Soldier kind of was about, of like being black in America. And like representing a country, how to represent a country that really historically hasn't had your best interests in mind. In fact, the quite opposite. And I think that's interesting. That's clearly why they picked him to be Captain America and not Bucky in this particular time in American culture. And I think that's kind of just what he was talking about. And maybe he just didn't say it in the best way, but he caught heat about it. And anyway, there was another thing too, which I'll get into in a second, but Harrison Ford stepped up and fucking defended him like a gangster, because Harrison Ford's the fucking man, and said, quote, I don't think there's a black Captain America. I think there's just a Captain America. He could be red or green, but he's not. He's Anthony Mackie, and he fills the shoes, whatever they are. So everybody shut the fuck up, because Harrison Ford just put you in your place. So I like that.
That's good.
What kind of stuff are you working with this week, Dusty?
Well, we had a couple of grievances pop up the last week or two.
I fucking love grievances. What you got?
Well, we got a Superman lawsuit.
Yeah.
Joseph Schuster estate sues Warner Brothers and DC Comics. The plaintiff, Mark Warren Perry, the executive of the state, filed suit in Southern District of New York seeking, quote, damages and injunctive relief for defendants' ongoing infringements in Canada, UK, Ireland, and Australia, as well as declaratory relief, establishing the Schuster's estate ownership rights across relevant jurisdictions. WB spokesman obviously responded with, we fundamentally disagree with the merits of the lawsuit and will vigorously defend our rights. So, already the finger pointing. But basically what happened is Siegel and Schuster assigned worldwide Superman rights to DC's predecessor back in 38 for a mere $130 for $65 a piece. But the copyright laws of countries with British legal tradition, including the countries listed above, Canada, UK, Ireland, Australia, they contain provisions that automatically terminating such agreements 25 years after an author's death. So they should have got the rights back like in 2017, but the United States has something called the where is it at? The Berne Convention. They're signatory to the Berne Convention, which says that copyright stuff is going to be handled locally. So even though technically the ownership for the rights to Schuster should have gone back to them, it doesn't count because they have no repercussion in international law because it's a U.S. patent per se. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but there is perhaps no greater example of capitalism than the story of Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster. Like, these two guys got fucking hosed their whole lives by DC. Warner Brothers. Marvin knows all about it. I made Marvin watch that episode of
Tragic story.
What was it? Secret History of Comics, Robert Kirkman's Secret History of Comic Books, where this particular episode, The Trials of Superman, it's called. For those of you who haven't seen it, go watch it. It breaks this down very well. They spent their whole lives broke, destitute, homeless even. The guys who created Superman, literally, like the greatest human icon. Like when humanity dies, I've said this before, like, and another species arises and they're like going through remains of like human history, like Superman will be there. Like he's that ingrained into our culture. These two guys ended up getting like a severance package by the end of their careers. And so like I don't blame their estate for still trying to like win something. I know they're trying to do it for like
more
money,
of like a no, I mean it feels like this suit is more for publicity points because it feels like WB will probably win in a motion to dismiss because
probably
like I said, the US patent laws are different, and so WB still owns them. They don't own them in Canada and Ireland and Australia and all those other countries, but the Berne Convention says that all disputes have to be handled locally, and locally WB still owns the rights. So it's a wash. Basically, they can't they're just doing it for publicity. Just say they're still fucking us, and they should, make amends on that. But I don't, we'll see what happens.
Like they had to fucking fight just to get their names credited on shit. It's like it's just crazy. But as that episode says at the end, the world will always know Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster now. So they've definitely ingrained themselves into the legacy of the character that they created. But yeah, Kevin Smith is in that episode too. He has a little interview and he says like everybody who like dreams of doing something like in the creative profession, like bend a knee to him, those two guys, like it's their fight too also like gave way to creator rights in the industry even today. Like the comic book industry back then was fucking ruthless. And like imagine you create something but you don't own it, the company you work for does. Like that's the shit that we were talking about. So like their fight echoed through a lot of different things. Similarly, the guys who created Image Comics, what's his name? Todd McFarlane and Jim Lee, like those guys too. Like they started an independent comic book company in a time when like that was impossible, and their whole thing was like creator rights. Like you own your shit, it's yours. Todd McFarlane created Venom. Venom is one of the biggest characters in comic book history. Like, so it's just crazy. It was a crazy industry. Like just it is bizarre, like ruthless and cutthroat.
Yeah, it still is to some extent.
Yeah, totally.
I mean, speaking of co-creators not getting their due, Rob Liefeld is done with Marvel.
Yeah.
Ooh,
he's working to close out his other character stories. He's basically, he said in his podcast, if you listen to it, he goes into great detail. It's not the most recent one, but the one a week before. He's getting up there in age, and he doesn't know how much time he has left before he starts missing a beat. He said he's seen artists draw lines that he's never seen them draw lines before, and he doesn't really want to get there with his characters. So he's going to start closing all the arcs to his characters that he created independently anyways.
Right.
But Marvel apparently handed him a bag of burning dog shit and said, fuck off.
He's got receipts
with the whole
too.
Deadpool and Wolverine. Yes, he does. He definitely has receipts. He's only 57. He was not invited to the after party. I think he had to pull some nails to get invited to the premiere, or the premiere tickets came from somewhere else, but he was pretty poorly throughout the whole thing.
Yeah. He specifically name dropped Feige too, which I found surprising. Now, obviously, I don't fucking know Kevin Feige, but his public persona, his image that he puts out there, to me, he seems just like a nerdy comic book fan who is like really, truly passionate about the source material. And even through all this turbulent stuff with the Marvel films and the shows and quality decline and stuff, like I never really put that on him because like he was responsible for the shit that was really fucking good too. So it's like you don't just do like a crazy 180 like that. It always felt like corporate interference, which this kind of does too. obviously Feige has bosses. If he's told somebody can't come to a premiere, then it's like, what is he supposed to do?
Right.
I would understand why you would want him to like advocate for the creators as well, but sometimes when you're in a position like that, it's hard to do. And sometimes you're more powerful within than you are from the outside, which is like kind of similar to the approach like, Bernie Sanders took with the Democratic Party. Like he felt like, hey, if I fucking buck these guys, they're going to kick me out of the Senate. I'm better off within it than out of it. So I feel like it's kind of the same situation, but I don't know. But yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's weird because he says, according to my experience, Feige doesn't treat comic book creators very well.
Yeah.
Well, we really don't know what his experience is because what the first 2 Deadpool movies were in Fox, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the third one was Disney.
Mm-hmm.
So he actually finally had to work with Feige on that one, but we don't know what else he had to work on him with or to what extent. So I'm not sure what their history is. Maybe something goes way back farther, or maybe he just didn't like the way Feige was doing things for the final, the Deadpool and Wolverine movie. But yeah, that's interesting. Either
way, though, I mean, like, obviously these guys deserve their credit. Like, you wouldn't have the movies if it wasn't for them. So,
yeah. Well, that's one of his biggest complaints is if you watch the original Superman, Schuster and Siegel are the first 2 names in the credits, really.
Well, that was the culmination of their legal battle.
Correct.
Yeah.
And his name in the credits is basically after the mid-credit scene or at the end of the credits. I don't remember. It's not not even at the beginning of the Daredevil movie. It's at the very fucking end of it. And he's like, come on, guys. I asked you to do right, and you just fucking ignored me. And then you said I'm not invited to the after party. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
It might not mean anything because I cry at everything, but I shit you not, in any form of media, movies, TV shows, when I see Superman created by Jerry Siegel and Joe Shuster, I get choked up. Just knowing the battle that they had to go through just to get their fucking names on the screen. Like it's crazy.
It's tumultuous.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Well, we're on to the rumor mill. We got My Time to Shine. Hello. He's got a few things out in the last couple weeks. Blade update, biggest one. Blade will feature both Lilith and a newly added male villain. Is yet to be named. And the studio is also searching for a director again. Expected to finalize one soon. Who knows? Mahershala Ali remains attached. Previous reports of the script is now set in the modern timeline with Lilith as the main antagonist, but there will also be another villain.
Interesting.
But yeah, looking for a new director again is the news there. But he also dropped some subtle stuff on the X-Men reboot. Several different tweets from him or in his subscription scoop. Javier Bardem could play Nathaniel Essex, aka Mr. Sinister, which I think is an amazing pick. Hunter Schafer is being considered for the role of Mystique. Denzel Washington, possibly as Magneto, is still
let's fucking go
going strong.
That's gonna piss a lot of people off.
And then DeWanda Wise is being eyed for the role of Storm. Those are all the cast from My Time to Shine. My Time to Shine. Hello.
DeWanda Wise. Let me see.
DeWanda Wise, yes. I don't know if I've seen it.
Yeah, it looks like she'd be a good Storm. I haven't seen anything she's been in.
How you spell it?
DeWanda. It's like
it's
DeWanda.
DEI. Hey, DEI is done now. This Trump's America, baby. I don't know if I could show this picture.
Yes, it looks like she'll be a good.
What's this trend of women just fucking going naked to award shows? Like, what's up with this?
It's fashion. I don't know.
Jesus, yeah, fashion is wearing nothing.
That's
she's
feminism, Dan.
That's nothing compared to Kanye's wife.
I don't care. Don't get me wrong. I love looking at boobs, but I'm just saying. Anyway, what else you got, Dusty?
Recasting T'Challa. We talked about this a little bit. Comicbook.com did an interview with Nate Moore, the VP of Production and Development at Marvel Studios. And this is what he had to say. Quote, "The truth is there's no truth to the rumors. Never say never to anything. We haven't really had a lot of creative conversations with Ryan Coogler yet because he's finishing his film Sinners, which comes out this year. We'll get into it later this year, but everything you read online is not true. If for no other reason than we just haven't started working." So maybe they will recast T'Challa, but the rumors that they might are bullshit because Coogler was busy with Sinners. Okay. Now that he's done, maybe they'll start talking about it and see where they're going to go. But yeah, that's the word on Black Panther being recast. And then this was an interesting one. Make Marvin watch Oscar movies. Screen Rant actually did a ranking of the only 3 movies to sweep all 5 major categories.
Okay, so what? Best actor, best picture, best director.
Yeah,
you don't know if I want
pull it up so we can see.
Did I not open it?
I don't know.
Where is it?
MMW Oscars. It's just a little quick. It's Screen Rant, I believe.
Did you link it?
Yes, it's in there. Right after the My Time to Shine and T'Challa stuff.
Got it.
Yeah.
I must have missed it. Sorry.
So they ranked One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, obviously won. But
look
I
at
don't
this.
know
Speaking of AI, sorry to interrupt you. AI just butchered Jack Nicholson's fucking face. Look at this. Inhuman fucking nonsense. Go ahead. I'm sorry to interrupt you.
But they did their ranking. Silence of the Lamb, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, and what's the other one? It's like a 1938 rom-com.
It Happened One Night.
It Happened One Night. Like the OG. This is like the grandfather.
34
rom-coms.
Hell yeah, Marvin! You better watch your mouth. I'll
which
make you
one
watch
of
this
these?
shit
I
right now.
doubt you've seen. Have you seen any of these? Have you seen Silence of the Lambs or One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest?
I didn't see One Flew, but I did see the spinoff show with
oh right, Nurse Ratched or whatever.
Yeah.
That'd been fun if he was like, I haven't seen Silence of the Lambs, but I did see It Happened One Night from 1934.
Have you seen Silence of the Lambs?
Big fan. Silence of the Lambs. That's
Anthony Hopkins as the killer, the serial killer.
See, like these, I've all seen them like kind of in passing, but like, well, not all these, but this one I've seen like kind of. I can't tell you like really much about it.
All right, so it'll go on the Make Marvin watch list. That's fine.
Yeah, I mean, all 3 of them probably we should make them go on there because they're all great movies. But yeah, anywho. Last bit of piece of news I have before we get into the segue news. The X-Men reboot is underway, gentlemen, or will be in October.
That link didn't work, by the way.
The production list link didn't work, really?
Yeah, no.
Okay. That sucks.
That's okay.
Production list posted.
This is it. I don't know what this is. Oh, this is, I guess this is exactly what you wanted me to see. Okay.
Yep. They list productions upcoming. So it basically lists casting should be happening very soon. But the weird thing is the no directors attached, and you generally want your director to do your casting. So they got to pick a fucking director. Hunger Games writer Michael Leslie is hired to pen the screenplay. Now, apparently Marvel met with Jordan Peele, but didn't happen. Well, nothing's come from that yet.
Jordan Peele X-Men would be insane. Oh my God.
Yeah, they did meet, but we haven't heard any news from it, whether anything came to fruition. Some people say that because nothing was reported, nothing happened, and nothing's there, and he's not going to do it. But they could be keeping tight lips on this, and we could get a Jordan Peele fucking X-Men reboot.
Wow.
But
sick.
Insider Jeff Snyder heard that Harris Dickerson, Baby Girl, is being eyed for Cyclops, and Sadie Sink from Stranger Things is the potential for Jean Grey. So
she might be, I could see her as Jean, but a little young, maybe.
But yeah, production starts, or pre-production, I guess, starts in October. I don't know. But we're getting an
shooting
X-Men
on that
reboot.
link, you said. It's a shooting date.
Well, I think that's just start of production, though. I don't know if they're going to start shooting. Maybe they will. Who knows?
All right. What else you got for us, Dusty? You had a couple pieces of
Bill Skarsgård, yeah, he is going to be teaming up with Hugh Jackman. I'm actually excited about this one in an upcoming A24 film.
Oh.
The Death of Robin Hood is what this movie is. And it's said to be a, quote, dark reimagining of the classic Robin Hood tale set in its time. The film will see title character grappling with his past after a life of crime and murder, battle-worn loner who finds himself gravely injured and in the hands of a mysterious woman who offers him a chance at salvation. Now, this is akin to old Westerns and movies like that. The Shootist, John Wayne has done some movies like this where he's an old gunslinger going to his death and just kind of wants to die in a shootout, which is kind of what I feel this reads like.
Piqued my interest.
Totally wrong. But yeah, sounds good. Michael Sarnowski wrote the screenplay and will be directing the film. And the film's producers this is what kind of get me to drop a little bit of enthusiasm about it. The film's producers, Aaron and Andrew of Ryder Picture Company, teased, Michael has crafted something far more grounded and visceral than all the other Robin Hood movies.
Okay.
And I hate it when they use the word grounded for I think it's overused.
It is.
It feels like a progressive saying anything you don't agree with, and then they call you a Nazi.
Well,
just because you don't agree with 100% of everything they say.
It's because
you're misusing it, abusing it. Stop it.
Well, it's definitely been overused by comic book movies for sure. This is one where I feel like it might make sense because I don't know if we've ever gotten like a grounded movie about fucking Robin Hood, to be honest.
I mean, the one with what's his name? Wasn't too bad. Russell Crowe, yeah. Yeah, Robin Hood. Yeah. That's I
forgot about
pretty
this movie,
decent
to
little
be honest.
flick.
Ridley Scott. God.
It's a decent little flick. I mean, it's more of a grounded Robin Hood movie. It's not like, and I mean, I guess my all-time favorite is the Kevin Costner one, which is fucking out of this world. Like,
I mean, Robin Hood Men in Tights is the greatest Robin Hood movie ever made. But yeah, sure.
Yeah. No, that's a great one.
I love Men in Tights. So good.
It's more of a
it's hilarious comedy
parody, but yeah.
Oh, there's so many Robin Hood movies. Yeah, Prince of Thieves with Kevin Costner. Totally forgot about that. All right, never mind. I take back what I said. Every Robin Hood movie has been grounded. Except for Men in Tights.
Yeah. But anyhow, yeah, that one, an A24 movie, though, about the death of Robin Hood with Bill Skarsgård and Hugh Jackman. Sounds intriguing to me. So I'm looking forward to that.
Speaking of movies speaking of movies that are coming out that I'm fucking hyped for, and I think you're hyped for this too. Our boy Sam Raimi, his new movie Send Help has begun filming. It's described as a horror version of Castaway mixed with Misery.
That's just insane.
Starring Dylan O'Brien and Rachel McAdams. Oh yeah, sign me up now. Take my money, baby.
That's crazy.
Castaway meets Misery. I couldn't even imagine what that even fucking means. Like
trapped on an island with a crazy ass bitch. I don't know.
Wilson, yeah.
Wilson comes alive and fucks you up.
All right. What else you got, Dusty?
Robert Eggers. I don't know who told him what or where he heard it because I didn't see a source or why he's defending this at all. But
I'll tell you why.
He defended the mustache from potential haters.
No, there's a lot of mustache haters.
No, is there?
Yeah.
I did not.
They're fucking tripping because the mustache is crazy.
This is what he had to say about it. Quote, every single thing is deeply researched and considered. You're always working to be as historically accurate as possible. The mustache was absolutely crucial for people who aren't into the mustache because they were expecting something that looked more like the iconic Max Schreck look. I get it, but with my approach based on history, there's absolutely no fucking way ever in a possible situation that this guy wouldn't have a mustache. And that goes down to like all the clothing that he's wearing, his complicated shoes, his hat. It's all based on research. So if you got a problem with Robert Eggers, he did his fucking homework and fuck you. He's got a mustache.
Yeah, this is a problem when like something is so ingrained into culture. Like, this is what people expect. Now,
I don't want to see this wacky ass shit. So, I mean, I'm glad he went with the fucking.
I mean, listen. So, Marvin,
I thought it was an interesting choice based on. Well, we can talk about it when we get into the movie, but
yeah, no,
that was the last piece of news I had because that's the segue into the movie we're going to talk about. Is Nosferatu.
First time I saw Nosferatu was on SpongeBob. So,
what?
You know what I'm saying? I'm glad I didn't go with this type of look in
Was that a thing?
Yeah.
Interesting.
Look it up.
I don't remember that. Can you describe it?
The lights kept going out, the Krusty Krab.
The Krusty Krab.
It was like a stormy night or something.
Interesting.
Then the lights were flickering, and then you see Nosferatu. He's the one fucking flickering the lights.
Okay.
And they're like, Nosferatu or something.
Most people are familiar with Bram Stoker's Dracula, which is a retelling of the tale.
Incorrect.
To some extent.
Well, kind of
to some
correct.
extent.
But all right, thanks for the news, Dusty. Appreciate that.
Yeah, no
Let's get into today's movie. We're talking about, of course, Nosferatu. Now, I was very excited for this. The movie that Martin Scorsese says, quote, "It's amazing. Anything this guy does, amazing. This one film, you don't do much after seeing. That's one film you don't do much after seeing. You're still in the world. You're in Transylvania. It's really, man, he's something." Now, I picked that out because this motherfucker is always out here talking shit about Marvel movies. So, you know, what he says is holds a lot of weight. Yeah, so let's get into it. So, depending on who you ask, it's either a gothic horror masterpiece or just an overly long vampire art piece with, as you just mentioned, a weirdly mustached Bill Skarsgård. And people are divided on it a little bit. I'm surprised. Where do we land on this? Let's talk about it. Did Robert Eggers give us a new horror classic, or is this just a really expensive love letter to a movie that didn't need another remake? Let's get into it. So, in your last piece of news, you were just talking about the mustache, right? People had a problem with it. But let me just tell you, people are dumb, okay? Because I was just looking through some of the reviews prior to us meeting up to record. And I literally read a review that was like, this movie was not interesting. It was too much like Dracula. Okay. So apparently this person and a lot of people don't understand that the original Nosferatu, the silent film starring Max Schreck as the titular character,
It's 100 years old.
is literally a soft adaptation of Bram Stoker's Dracula. Okay. So for those of you that don't know, Bram Stoker's Dracula is the singular source for all vampire shit that has existed since. Okay? It just is. So saying, oh, it's too similar to Dracula, that's because it is fucking Dracula. Like, what are you saying?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, I guess people...
Yeah, I was talking about the movie.
No, I know. No, I know.
Okay.
I know. Yeah, up until this point, we've gotten a lot of vampire shit over the years. I love vampire stuff. You guys know that. Love vampire lore.
Me too.
Here on the podcast, we watched another Dracula adaptation of one of the segments, one of the chapters out of Bram Stoker's Dracula, which was The Last Voyage of the Demeter, which was an absolutely dog shit movie.
Not that great.
It had some ups.
It had potential. That was a great chance to tell a great story, and it just fell a little short.
I think the movie Bram Stoker's Dracula is arguably one of the I think it's the best vampire movie ever made. There's a lot of them. I'm here to say it. I'm just going to say it out of the gate. I think this movie might dethrone it. I think it did for me. But I'm curious to hear what you guys said. So, real quick, this is set in 19th century Germany. Nosferatu follows Thomas Hutter, a real estate agent who travels to a remote castle in Transylvania to secure a property deal with the reclusive Count Orlok. Upon arrival, he realizes that Orlok is not just an ordinary aristocrat. He is, in fact, a vampire. And as Orlok becomes fixated on Hutter's wife, Ellen, he sets sail for Germany, leaving a trail of death and plague in his wake. Ellen, who's plagued by visions of the sinister Count throughout the movie, soon becomes the key to stopping his reign of terror. This is, of course, directed by Robert Eggers, who I think is one of the greatest filmmakers of the last 10 to 15 years, who has a just meticulous attention to detail for his period piece films, which Dusty likes to criticize me for not liking, but liking his. And so that's why his comments about the mustache was like, listen, shut the fuck up. I did my research. I promise you. So yeah, Marvin, let's start with you. What'd you think?
Start with me. Okay. So I haven't seen the original.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't expect you to. It's a silent film.
Oh, it's a silent film too. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. So this movie was just completely new for me. I knew nothing about this, but I'm actually glad about it.
Okay.
So I was actually like kind of confused and honestly not super interested for about the first 20 minutes.
Is it because of the beginning?
It was just a little, I don't know what about it. It's
I had a little confusion in the beginning too.
Yeah.
Which I'll say just to see if we were connected there. So in the beginning of the movie opens with Ellen as a young girl, and she's like basically she's like lonely, and she is isolated, and the movie sort of like hints at the fact that she's developing like a supernatural sort of ability.
Mm-hmm.
And she basically is praying for companionship in this isolation, and something calls out to her, something answers her, an unseen force, and it lures her outside, where she embraces it, and it's Orlok's hand that grabs her by the throat. So I was a little confused at first. I didn't know if it was like her and I missed it or what, but it kind of suggests that Orlok has had a hold on her for years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Whereas the rest of the movie doesn't necessarily ever like come back to that. It just seems like Orlok is just interested in her. So I was a little bit confused the whole time until I kind of realized it. But that was my confusion. Was that the same as yours? Or
it was the same. Yeah.
So
it did start to pick up for me about when Thomas takes the trip to like the small village and then to the manor, is where I was like, oh man, this is sick.
Oh shit, here we go.
Yeah. I love the whole plague thing, like traveling with Orlok, and it's not just like him killing people and drinking their blood and all that, but it's like actual like sickness and like despair. It's like just had a grip on the entire setting there. Yeah.
And in this way, Robert Eggers is like very true to the original. Like that's
okay.
But it's such a classic like vampire thing that hasn't been done ever since. Where like their presence does bring like just
it's not
shroud
just
of like just despair and sickness, and it's not just him like drinking blood and fucking
because that's the type of vampires honestly that I'm used to seeing. I feel like just from like
totally
watching Blade or watching whatever else random, Twilight or some shit.
Twilight.
30 Days of Night.
Yeah, this is great, dude. I love this. The cast was crazy. I feel like Orlok's accent was like absolutely insane. I had to look it up, and it was like some like ancient, extinct like Romanian dialect or something.
Yeah.
Nicholas Hoult is really growing on me now too.
Bro, he's a good actor.
And it's funny because he was in that other
Renfield.
The other vampire, Renfield.
Yeah.
And he was almost the same here. I was like, is he really gonna be another like familiar? Like, is this really happening? But no, it wasn't that, which is good. And Willem Dafoe is just so good at everything. I don't get it. Like, what is this guy?
He's just a G. That's it.
And even Lily Rose Depp, like, what a redemption for her. Like, she came off that terrible show with The Weeknd or whatever, the HBO show that everybody was shitting on called Idol. I don't know if you remember this.
I vaguely remember.
Didn't watch it.
I didn't watch it. I just saw clips of The Weeknd and terrible acting.
Don't forget about Aaron Taylor Johnson. Boy, was he great.
Yeah.
And Ralph Ineson. Oh my God, I can't wait to hear this dude's take on Galactus. He's the voice
Aaron
of Galactus.
Taylor Johnson is the guy with the fucking crazy cracked out voice, right? Like, it's like he's got that real guttural voice. That's him, right?
He played Frederick, Thomas's friend.
Thomas's friend. Oh, no. I'm thinking of the doctor.
You're thinking of the doctor. That's Ralph Ineson.
Ralph Ineson. He's the one with the fucking,
one with
I
the
love
really
his
deep
voice.
He's playing Galactus.
He's got the guttural fucking, oh, that's good. I like that.
He was in The Green Knight.
Voice.
He's got the sickest voice. Yeah. It's very,
so good.
It's like otherworldly. It's like,
it is.
It's supernatural. It's weird. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is.
All right.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a big fan of this.
How about you, Dusty?
This is a good vampire movie.
Oh, God.
Dusty has a problem with Robert Eggers.
Silence before that. What's?
Well, no. It's funny because I watched this a couple weeks ago, and it was about the time it came out, and the sources we use to watch movies. Sure. I actually started watching 2023 Nosferatu.
I didn't know there was a 2023 Nosferatu.
I didn't either. I was like, what the fuck is this? Doug Jones plays Count Orlok. He's known as Baron Faunus.
Oh, this creepy
What We
looking
Do in the Shadows. You might know that guy, Dan. But Sarah Carter, like, it came on and Sarah Carter was in the scene. I was like, that is not Lily Rose Depp. What the fuck am I watching? I was like, that doesn't really look like Nicholas Hoult, but fucking whatever. But I was like, Sarah Carter is not And like she was in Falling Skies. Like she's like my age, and Lily Rose Depp's like 25 years old. I was like,
Right.
Yeah.
watching the wrong movie. So stopped it.
That's
Kind of
funny.
curious by it because like the first 10 or 15 minutes, I was like, oh, this is interesting artwork. I kind of want to go back and watch that one now to see how it compares. But this is a classic tale, so there's nothing new in it. So it didn't blow my mind. Robert Eggers did an amazing job of telling this story, and it is a really good movie. But having known the story and seen it done so many times, it's like watching a Robin Hood movie or something like that, like or King Kong movie. Like if you've seen one, you've seen them all. And so I don't know how much I would praise this movie. Is it a must-see vampire movie? I mean, if you want to watch something about the original, yes, absolutely. But it didn't blow my mind away, I guess is what I'm trying to say. I still thoroughly enjoyed it. It was great start to finish, but nothing jaw-dropping about it. Just another vampire movie about
I can understand why you would say it's not anything innovative or anything like that. It's a well-trodden vampire story for sure. I just think Robert Eggers' vision of it is what makes it fresh and new, because obviously we said he has a meticulous attention to historical accuracy.
And he has a style for sure. Yeah.
It just, his movies, like the reason why I like, I'm obsessed with him. I'll fucking suck his dick right now, but like like The Witch and The Lighthouse and The Northman, like his movies just have this like just oppressive feeling of like just they're haunting. That's the only way you could describe them.
Oh, for sure. Look, dude, the manor scene with Thomas when he first goes there.
Yeah.
Like I haven't seen any of
when
the other
he's just
things,
standing in the back and he's silhouetted and he's like this giant fucking dude.
That whole scene was like gut wrenching. Like
his voice, like in the just you don't see his face and you're just seeing like kind of little glimpses of what he looks like, and his accent, which I can't even like begin to just like recreate. That I don't know, man. This movie like completely like took me over. Like I was like fully invested, and there was nothing going on around me. Like I was fully in this movie. I haven't felt that way in a really long time watching a movie like just insane. Like I was fucking locked in. I was immersed, as the kids say.
Yeah.
And it's really,
I like the design choice of Orlok as well. Like you know, he's pretty much bald everywhere, and he's got that strong ass mustache, which is hilarious because he's got thinning, balding hair like on top of his head, and he's got this big gnarly mustache. So, I mean, I don't think it distracted or anything. I thought it was amazing. So I'm not a mustache hater. I like the design choice and the research. I thought it was great.
Well, like we were saying when you were doing the news, is like people are used to the Max Schreck version of the character, which is so ingrained into pop culture. Like this is him. Like it's super iconic. So iconic, in fact, that when the Salem's Lot movie came out, like they did Barlow in the same the same way. So, you know, this is what like this is what people see when they think of Nosferatu and vampire bosses in general. So
I hate this. I hate this look.
Yeah, it's like
I know that it's like super iconic and all that, but
I don't hate it.
It's supposed to look battish. I would think is what the idea was back then. Like, how could we make it look battish and humanoid?
Yeah, it's just an old school sort of look. Like this looks like a fucking silent film from 1922. Like that's just what it looks like, you know. Yeah. So I totally get it, but I didn't have a problem with the mustache either. And like, you know, it was a little goofy at first, but it didn't like take me out of it. But yeah, I think
I didn't feel like it was goofy at all. But like I said, I had no reference.
Yeah.
So if I had to pick, I prefer Robert Eggers.
I mean, you barely see it though. You see him like fully for like, I don't know, 10 seconds of the whole movie.
When he jumps out of the coffin. That was a great scene, by the way.
And it really works because like you're not seeing him a lot of the time. And the times, dude, this movie was fucking amazing. Like, this movie is amazing. This might be my favorite movie of the year. I don't know. Really, it might be.
Great.
I'll have to think about it real hard. But
yeah, like I love some of the scenes with just the looming shadows and
that's
how they
what I
were
was getting to.
transitioning with like communication and stuff. Like it was so good.
Bro, the scenes when like this movie's broken down into like night and day. Literally, it's like daytime and nighttime, because in the daytime you're free of Orlok. Like he's sleeping, you're like good. You could plan and plot and do what you gotta do. But when fucking night falls, boy, fuck, look out, because this motherfucker's coming, and he's coming hard, and it was scary, and like all this stuff is really just because of Robert Eggers' visual aesthetic and his cinematography. It like at night, I don't know if you realize, but when Orlok is, it's almost like the way the shark in Jaws was treated, where like. You know, the barrels and stuff, they pop up to show when the shark is around. Well, in this, when Orlok's around, like the color is sucked out of this movie. It's almost black and white. Did you notice that?
That's true. I did. Yeah.
And it like, you just feel it. You feel the despair and like the sickness and all the shit that comes along with his presence. And like, oh man, I was just blown away by it. Like, forget like the historical accuracy. I could give a fuck, but like, just that visual approach was fucking haunting. Like I was genuinely, I'm not fucking scared like I couldn't sleep, but it was scary. I thought, like his shadowy fingers coming out and like using the shadow to like represent his presence and like his force and his power. Oh my god, so good, so good.
And I loved the portrayal of Willem Dafoe's character, like how he was. This like basically like genius level scientist, right? But then he like started to dabble with the occult.
He showed up waiting for shit to happen. Yeah,
and they just the whole tie-in of that. I thought that was sick too. Yeah.
We mentioned the cast a little bit, but to break it down a little bit more, Skarsgård as Orlok, like we've seen this kid basically crush the role of Pennywise. I thought when he was in
it. True.
I don't know how he was in The Crow because I'll never watch that movie. You can't pay me to watch it.
I'll watch it eventually.
But man, like I don't know why. Like it seems like from the minimal amount of reading I've done, it seems like his portrayal has been met with a kind of mixed reactions.
It's crazy to me because I feel like his performance was so powerful.
Yeah,
it wasn't even like it was a human doing the role. Like it was like it was so good. It was like this is an actual monster that's on the screen right now. Like what are we talking about here?
It sells it. I think people were I don't know, we live in like a clickbait, like engagement bait generation where like engagement is like everything. It drives everything. So I don't know even if people are being honest, but I've seen people aside from the mustache, people are like, oh, his accent was not convincing, and I'm just like, what? I felt the same way you did. I'm like,
as soon as I heard him rolling those R's, I had to look up I was like, what is this? I've never heard an accent like this.
My counsel, like, dude, it was so good. Oh man, I don't know.
Yeah.
Lily Rose Depp as Ellen, like, fucking standout performance. Like, she crushed it. Because she's manipulated by him. We mentioned it briefly, but like the movie in the beginning suggests that he's had a power over her whole life,
right? And
sort of controlling her from afar. And so, you know, when she is in when she's like being what's the word you even want to call it, like enchanted by him or whatever, like you fucking believe it. She's like fucking hypersexually attracted to him, and like like she's like lustful and like almost orgasmic. And then she snaps out of that and is like completely crippled by fear by him because she doesn't know what's going on with her, and like she's been dealing with this her whole life. So I thought she sold both of those things awesome, and that psychological torment that she is going through, like, really fucking nailed it.
I said before that like Sydney Sweeney's like the queen of like despair and like playing those like super sad, like, you know, those type of roles. But after this, I think I want to see more of Lily playing some of these type of roles, maybe, to see.
And by the way, you mentioned Willem Dafoe. He's credited as Albin Eberhard von Franz. I think he was supposed to be Van Helsing, but I'm not 100% sure. Van Helsing is like a famous...
That makes a lot of sense with the alchemy and stuff.
Vampire hunter, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, the performances were fantastic.
Yeah, they were absolutely fantastic.
It was crazy.
And
Robert Eggers loves Willem Dafoe, but rightfully so.
Have you seen Lighthouse, Marvin? I watched that with Dusty.
Yes.
That movie is batshit, but it's fucking amazing.
Crazy.
And again, similar feelings of like depression and despair and like loneliness and isolation in that movie specifically. All his movies have these like little underlying themes. The Witch has been one of my favorite movies since it came out. I fucking love that movie so much. And again, the despair. This family is just like cast out of their little village, and there's like a famine that's taken over, and it's like, is it witches? Like, are we just dealing with like, because going into it about like the Salem witch trials, about how like women were treated, and like obviously in real life it was just manic craziness, but in this movie it makes you question like, is this going on? And then
that was Ralph Innocent again too.
And when you realize like Black Phillip, when he starts talking to them, you're just like, oh fuck, it's really happening. Like,
it's over.
I love Robert Eggers, man. Like he's just so good. And this crazy movie, these underlying themes of like obsession and desire, like just twists it into like this dark thing, because she's not really feeling those things. Like she is, but not, because he's controlling her. Oh man, it's crazy.
It is crazy.
And this movie goes to a place that movies very rarely do, because they're afraid. But we see kids die in this movie, and it's like
nothing.
Like nothing. Like Orlok is just eating these fucking kids.
Sucked them up like Capri Suns. That shit was fucking.
Dude,
get the fuck out of here.
That was a great scene.
Little snack.
Oh my god, that shit was funny. And like that was another thing too. Like I know, Dusty, you said like there's nothing really super innovative here, but I've never seen like the actual like vampiric shit that he's doing in this was like visceral, like the slurping and the like the way he's just, and like I like that he like targeted the heart, not the fucking neck.
There was some great stuff. Like I remember the scene where Thomas wakes up and then tries to kill him. Then he runs into that room.
Where he gets trapped.
He gets trapped, but Orlok like does basically like the magic thing where he's like making him turn around to open the door. Like just little stuff like that. I was like, what the? This is really this is all just like adding up to just kind of blow my mind. It was crazy.
Yeah, there's a lot of really good stuff. So, I don't know. Some critics were saying that like the movie lacks depth, I guess, sort of in like addressing. Go ahead.
No, it's got plenty of depth. I mean, it's like any remake. It really, really has to stand out, and in order for it to like,
I think it did
the comeuppance. I don't know that. I thought it was great. And Robert Eggers always does a great job. But did it stand out? I mean, when was the last time you watched the original?
I've seen it maybe once in my life, twice.
Okay, yeah.
Just to say I watched it,
Right.
As a horror movie fan or a film.
I actually put it on a month or so ago when I was cooking and doing stuff. I didn't read the stuff, but I was watching the scenes kind of.
Yeah.
Off in the distance. But yeah. And then, having partially watched the other one, it's just, I don't know. I hadn't seen a million vampire movies. It's great directing. It's great acting. It's great cinematography. It's all great, but there's nothing groundbreaking about it per se, I guess, is where I'm still gonna, I enjoyed it and I'll probably watch it again sometime, but
yeah, this is definitely a rewatch for me, for sure.
Oh yeah. I think this is an easy rewatch. I don't have a frame of reference as far as, if it's innovating anything or not, but I feel like when you consistently, just in this movie, you consistently hit like a 10 on all of these different levels is kind of like enough.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, maybe it's not super original in its like the way, because it's basically following the same themes and stories of story of the original, but like It's just the way the execution of it is
Yeah.
different. Obviously, just based off of the times and the technology and stuff like that. But like, it's in the hands of this like really purely unique filmmaker. Like, there's nobody else who could have delivered this movie to us the way it was delivered. You know, there could be 1,000 Nosferatu movies or vampire movies or Dracula movies, but this one is like uniquely his. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's kind of my thought process where like not a lot of filmmakers have that. You know what I mean? Like, to name a few, like Steven Spielberg, his movies like feel like Steven Spielberg movies. Coen brothers, they feel like this is a Robert Eggers movie. Nobody else could have made this movie. Same with Tarantino. Like, they obviously exist. So in that sense, I do think it is innovative. But some people were like, you know, I've seen some criticisms from critics about like it didn't really address like contemporary culture, like modern culture or social themes, which is like, why would you want that? And they're like, oh, it doesn't like resonate with modern audiences. It's like, it's not a fucking story about modern times. It's a story about fucking, you know?
I don't know if Robert Eggers is ever going to do that because
he said he
will
wasn't.
not film a car or a phone.
Yeah, he said he wasn't, and I respect him for it. But yeah, so, I was completely blown away by it 100% of the time. Like, there's not a moment through it where I was like, and you know, we said this when the trailer came out. I don't know if you guys remember. I was like, I've been hyped for this for a while, and like, vampires over the years have been like really kind of like sort of toned down, and that like there's been obviously vampires are just like so fucking overdone, and I don't even want to say overdone because like I never want to not have vampire stuff. It's just like they've become kind of samey, but definitely toned down. This is like one of the first portrayals of a vampire that I've seen in a really long time that's a fucking monster. Do you know what I mean? Like,
it's not cool. It's not.
Yeah, like,
he's got some cool, like, he's got some aura or whatever.
For sure.
Like, don't get me wrong, but
he's not a pimp.
It's not like this.
He did have that pimp
like
coat.
swaggy fucking like
And like, there's been like a romanticized modern vampires have been romanticized. I think is the right way to say it.
For sure, yeah. Like even Sinners, like, well, those are vampire hunters, but like,
but like
it's just completely different.
They're sexy vampires. Like they're
exactly.
You know, you get fucking what was I just thinking? Obviously Twilight. Like that's just a horse shit.
Underworld.
P.
Underworld. What'd you say? You got a P? Oh, Bobby P.
Bobby P.
You got there was one that I just had in my head, like Lost Boys too. They're just like cool, like biker kids. Like it's just this is one of the first ones in a really long time where it's like, oh fuck, that's like an actual monster.
Exactly. The whole atmosphere, that the whole like plague thing, like it all
I loved it. Yeah.
Went together perfectly.
Yeah, it's great. So yeah, I honestly don't have a bad thing to say about this movie. You know, and vampires aren't going anywhere, right? Like they're a huge part of human culture, and we'll see many, many more movies. But I think this is like uniquely gonna stand on its own as like a unique interpretation of the vampire, like just genre. And yeah, I don't know. I was genuinely scared through it. Like again, not like I'm gonna go hide in my bed, but like it was fucking.
Shit.
It was scary. Like it's frightening. Like this fucking dude. Like he's just like, he's just got like this his presence is fucking overwhelming, and like, and it seems like you can't do anything about it. Like when he kills the kids, like and everything kind of turns like, again, despair and like. Fucking, you know, Frederick, Aaron Taylor Johnson's character, like he just can't live with it. Like he, you know, and like it's just everything starts to go off the rails. And despite all of that, by the end of the movie, she obviously outsmarts Orlok and decides to like, you know, embrace him until the sunlight. She sacrifices herself. I felt bad for the motherfucker. Tell me how they managed to pull that off. And I was like, oh man, I was like, he kind of just laying there all fucking shriveled up and dead now.
Yeah. That was,
Because
I saw a funny comment like, he was so horny that he killed himself for it or something. Like,
dude, that's true.
Oh, okay.
He was. Again, I'm going to bring up Jaws. It kind of reminded me of the shark in Jaws, right? Because Bruce, the shark in Jaws, is not a monster. It's an animal. It's a creature. It's just doing what it was born to do. It doesn't know that it's killing humans or like terrifying beachgoers or whatever. It's just doing what's in its nature. And I really felt that about Count Orlok in this too.
Yeah, he came off very much that way. And even in the beginning when he was asking him about the rating of the graves and stuff, he said, yeah, it's just their way, man. Stop fucking crying about it.
Yeah.
When you talk about the vampire hunters, you mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the gypsies doing the grave digging. Yeah.
He's like, he like screams at him not to mention it anymore or something.
Yeah. He was
Yeah.
freaking out like, man, I saw some weird stuff, man.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. He's like, just
let it go.
It was hilarious.
You're in Transylvania, buddy. It's normal here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The way
Another
that
Tuesday.
dude, people were kind of like dogging on Nicholas Holt's acting too, and I was just like, what? I was like, how?
That's crazy.
He was all like the fear that he like showed. It was just I don't understand people. People just like got to complain about everything, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I really got that impression from this, that he was not like, he's not like an evil being. He's just doing what he was like, what's in his nature. Maybe that was just in my own head, but I mean, you're saying you kind of got that too, Dusty. So,
Nah, I thought he was evil straight up. I don't think he was.
You think so? Like he had like malicious intent? Like
I think so.
Like he wanted to bring the world to ruin?
Maybe not to that extent.
Maybe I'm a little biased because I have, like I said, I like vampire lore and I talked about it before, but the vampire Cassidy in Preacher, he's a really compelling vampire because he's kind of like Lestat from Anne Rice's Interview with the Vampire. Lestat is a vampire who has been around for a long, long time and he's seen a lot of stuff and like they have emotion. Cassidy has emotion. Cassidy, by the end of the Preacher, is like he wants to die. Because he's lived so long and seen everybody he's ever loved and cared about, new friends, new relationships. Everybody eventually dies. He outlives everybody, and it takes a toll on you. So maybe because I have like a predisposition to some vampire stories where they are like characters that also have human emotion because they were humans. Maybe I applied a little bit of that to Orlok when it wasn't there, but I don't know. I think he kind of carried that like just animalistic presence of just like, yeah, I'm just being me, dude. Like nothing personal.
I would agree, but it was way too calculated. I feel like
that's true. And I mean, listen, the story of Dracula, I mentioned this when we talked about the Demeter, like the original Bram Stoker's Dracula story is that he is coming to London. And like London at the time that was written was like the center of the world. So he is going for like, power and all this shit.
Yeah.
And so,
yeah, it's kind of like the fear of vampires itself, though. I mean, they touch on the topic a little bit in the Blade movies and even the True Blood show. It's like, do we sit in the shadows and secrecy and just live peaceably among these people and hunt them as we wish? Or do we come out and make them all our cattle and just fucking rule the world? Like, that's the two dynamics of the vampires. And there's obviously people in the middle who think a little bit of both, but it's stay secret, stay hidden, and don't, stir the pot, or fucking these are our cows. We just need to raise them like cattle.
Right.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Well, do you guys have any last things you want to say about this?
Amazing movie.
Yeah. The glaze cannot be overdone for this one, I don't think. Surprised that it has mixed reviews. This didn't even get any Oscar love, right? As far as I know.
Oh yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about. Yeah, that's crazy that it didn't get any type of nods.
I don't think it did.
That's a
There's
shame.
no way that Gladiator 2 got an Oscar nomination and Nosferatu got none.
Let's see.
But I could be wrong there.
Let's see. Oh yeah, it's got a bunch of nominations.
Oh,
it
okay.
looks like.
Good.
Yeah.
No wins though, right?
Oh yeah, Academy Award Best Cinematography, Academy Award Best Makeup, Academy Award Best Production, Best Costume.
Yeah.
No Best Picture.
Oh, so they're
though.
going up against Gladiator 2 for best costume. That's good.
Yeah. Gladiator 2.
Oh, wait, when's the Oscars again?
March next month.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Coming
yeah,
up.
yeah, okay. Maybe they'll win some.
I
They
hope
deserve
so.
some.
I hope so.
Give
yeah.
them something. Give them one.
Give him something. Give him one. Come on. Give him
Give
one.
them some. Yeah.
Oh, it'll
one.
probably get something.
Yeah, so it has a 7.4 on IMDb.
Mm.
What you got, Marvin?
Man, this is a 10 for me.
Woo, baby. Dusty?
Easy 10.
I mean, I'll give it a bump to an 8, but I can't go
It's
any
big.
higher than that.
Okay.
Pretty good score.
That's good.
I'm also got to give it a 10. This was a 10. This is
Look at that shot right there. Even
I know,
Jesus.
right? Yeah,
This
this
is
is
crazy.
Like, it's just. Again, I hate to keep.
The cinematography was amazing.
Yeah,
It was crazy. Yeah.
dude. I honestly, the way that he depicted this, the night and day thing. I know it sounds simple, but like, it just really fucking reels you in. Of like, oh shit, nighttime's here. Like,
Yeah.
it's gonna get bad. Like, and his
dude,
that shadow over the city. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So good. This what?
And this movie only had a $50 million budget. Only, whatever, right? Only. But
Yeah, I mean that's small.
compared to some of the shit that we've seen.
Some of the
like
shit.
the fucking that rock movie, the Christmas Rock, whatever the fuck it was.
Yeah. Look at this shot.
Yeah.
There was like 250
Santa.
million. Yeah. It's crazy.
This is a beautiful movie. There he is.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
There he is.
All right. Well, that's going to do it for us, folks. We're done sucking this movie's dick. But if you haven't seen Nosferatu, really just rush to whatever device you watch movies on and watch it because it's really amazing.
Please.
It is incredible. And the other thing, too, is 2 hours and 12 minutes, which isn't really that long. And considering the subject matter of just the overwhelming dread and sorrow, I didn't even feel the runtime.
It flew by.
Yeah. Flew by. Completely flew by. I can't say enough things about it, so I'm just going to stop and say it was amazing. Definitely go watch it if you have not.
Yeah.
If you have seen it, leave a comment on the video. Let us know what you thought about it, and if there's any little things in it, Easter eggs or interesting little tidbits that you know.
And what's your favorite vampire movie besides this?
Yeah, what's your favorite vampire movie? This is.
Do you like the mustache?
Yeah.
Is this my favorite? I do think Bram Stoker's Dracula is so good, though. I made a bold statement at the beginning. I'm a little torn. This might
Bram
be better than Bram
Stoker's
Stoker's
Interview.
Dracula.
They're both great movies.
They are.
I even actually like 30 Days of Night, but it's a little
No,
off
it is. Yeah.
kilter. Underworld series is great. I mean, there's so many. The Blade series is great. I
Blade
love
1 is my
vampire
favorite.
stories,
Blade 1 is my favorite
but,
vampire movie.
Yeah. Blade and Underworld are both great. Interview with a Vampire, Bram Stoker's Dracula. Those are all amazing movies. That's why this one, like, I couldn't give it a perfect score or even a 9. It's just,
I think
it was great.
Midnight
Highly recommend it, and we'll watch it again.
Oh, Midnight Mass. Yeah.
Midnight Mass from Mike Flanagan. That's probably still my favorite vampire story. Very basic, similar to it's basically Salem's Lot, but I just love the way it was executed. But this was just something else. But yeah. So folks, don't forget we are on other platforms as well. We have our show over on YouTube. We have it on Spotify, Apple, and all those other podcast platforms. So wherever you want to enjoy us, you can. Whatever platform you're listening on, consider subscribing if you have not done so, or follow the show on Spotify. Leave a rating over on the podcast platforms. Leave a like on the video if you're on YouTube. Do all the things. Helps us out quite a bit. We do this once a week. Next week, what are we watching next week? Next week we're watching Anora, right?
Anora, yep.
Yeah.
I'm excited for that one too.
Next week we're watching Anora, another Oscar another Oscar movie. You could keep track of our schedule, watch along with us if you join our Discord. We post our schedules. We also post it on Twitter and stuff like that. So we'll catch you next week. We appreciate you hanging out with us. You guys have a good one.
See ya.
Basta.